Good morning, class. Today we are going to begin a very interesting topics in electronic devices and semiconductor materials. That is electrical conduction in solids. So today we will discussing two very interesting topics, and usually we have studies these topics drift current, but this is a new topic, and it's a very interesting topic as far as electronic devices conduction is concerned. Now, an earlier books you might have studied this with the help of formulas or might be some simple definitions. But when we are studying in a third semester in electronic devices, this has to be explained with the help of a valence band and conduction band and using the concept of energy variation. Now, to begin explaining of these topics, now as far as a normal conductor is concerned, that is mostly metal. If we talk about normal conductors, if we talk about normal conductors, it can be said mostly are metals. Now there is a very interesting variety which we know by the name of semiconductor. What made this device interesting is at room temperature, that is at temperature 0 degree Kelvin, it behaves as an insulator, and at temperature greater than 0 degree Kelvin, at temperature greater than 0 degree Kelvin, it shows or start to shows the property of conductor. These two characteristics at different temperatures make this semiconductor material very interesting apart from normal conductor, because through this semiconductor we can extract or use both properties, that is of an insulator and secondly of a conductor. So apart from the bookish definition and basic formulas, first we have to understand how this system works as far as reference to conduction band and valence band is concerned. So to begin with, I want to use an example of silicon. So I am basically drawing a silicon lattice here. I am basically drawing a silicon lattice here. So just let me draw. The circle portion shown here. The circle portion shown here actually represents the outermost shell, which we know as a valence shell, and we have shown a basic system. We have shown a basic system. So let me finish. Okay. So on outermost shell, these have 4 electrons. I will not draw the complete system. I will show only the central bonding. So this pairs with this. Okay, let me use a different color. This pairing, this pairing, this pairing, and this pairing. Now, if about the central atom, it has 8 electrons, and this system is balanced. This is situation at 0 degree Kelvin. This situation is at 0 degree Kelvin. And if we draw an energy band diagram, this is an increasing energy, and this is conduction band, and this is valence band. This outer circle is actually this valence band. So now here there are electrons. Here there are electrons, By sharing these electrons equal to 8, and so by sharing an covalent bond, and this conduction band is vacant. So by the fundamental knowledge, we know that if a material has to show conduction, it can be only shown through the movement of electrons, and electrons move only and only in the conduction band. And in this situation here, which I have made through um, outer shell diagram and energy band, we have seen that valence band is full by sharing of neighboring atoms, and conduction band shows a vacancy, which means at 0 degree Kelvin, this silicon crystal, intrinsic silicon crystal, it shows property of insulator. Okay. Now let's see what happens. Let's see what happens if we increase this temperature. Let's see what happens if we increase this temperature. For example, now we can call it case 2, and temperature is increased to greater than 0 degree Kelvin. Uh, Temperature is greater than 0 degree Kelvin. Okay. Now again drawing these silicon atoms. Okay. Now this circular is electron. Okay. Now this is a complete lattice. We are taking a small portion for explanation purpose. It is a network in 3-dimensional in the whole crystal. If we talk about the silicon, it's basically face-centered cubic structure. Now, as temperature is increased, we will see actually what happens now. With the energy formula, we know that energy is proportional to the n square, that is in which outer shell is having, and which means that energy is discrete. Energy is discrete means a particular shell can hold only a certain amount of energy, not more than that. So what interesting happens here is that if outermost shell have 4 electrons, if outermost shell have 4 electrons, and they have an energy x. Now when temperature gets increased, excess energy is supplied. Excess energy is supplied means the outer shell is having more energy than it can actually hold. So this excess energy results in breaking of bond. This excess energy results in breaking of bond. Now I have showed with dotted green structure the bond which earlier existed, and by the blue line, by the blue curve, I am showing that bond is broken. Now when bond is broken, what happens? When bond gets broken, and bond gets broken, what happens? Since it's pure, since silicon is pure, which means we are talking about intrinsic semiconductor, which means there are no impurity. In whole 3-dimensional lattice, we have only and only silicon. So when a pure silicon have its bond broken, either this electron will jump or this electron will jump, and it happens randomly. We cannot tell which, either from this or from this electron will jump. So after jumping, what happens? After jumping, what happens is very interesting actually. When electrons jump from here, it comes in vacant space here. These are vacant spaces. These are vacant spaces. So when electron jumps here vacant spaces, these vacant spaces are none other than conduction band. And what results from this jump? If this particular electron jumps, it creates a vacancy, which means it creates a hollow space. And we know from basic chemistry that if electrons leave an orbital, it creates a positive charge of its equal value but with opposite polarity. So will turn up this will turn up into a hollow space, and we terms this as holes. And its properties are positive charge equal to charge of electron but no mass. This is a very important parameter. It has no mass, only positive charge, and its value is equal to electronic charge. So this is if this is a like if we assume a ground and we dug a hole here. If we take this to be a ground and we dug a hole here, so it creates a vacancy, but this hole cannot move. This hole cannot move from here to here or move from here to here. Hollow spaces cannot move. So this is what happens with this hole. It just creates a vacancy in the outermost shell after the electrons jumps from this. So what it will result if we talk in terms of valence band and conduction band, which we have earlier seen in this. I'm going back to, oh, okay. In the first diagram, I have made valence band and conduction band for 0 degree Kelvin. Let me edit this. Temperature equals to 0 degree Kelvin. So here it behaves as an insulator. It behaves as an insulator. So coming back to our current diagram, now we are going to draw energy band diagram for this, for our case 2, which is temperature greater than 0 degree Kelvin. Temperature greater than 0 degree Kelvin. So if you want to draw energy band diagram, watch it very carefully. Some very interesting things happen here. Okay. So a particular electron from a particular silicon atom jumps. So this creates a vacancy, holes, and the electron which has jumped, and the electron which has jumped moves in conduction band. I am showing electron by a dark circle and a hole by a hollow space. So this is holes and this is electron. Now, what we see here, this is a Fermi level. This is a Fermi level. It's exactly midway between this. So what we find here is electron and holes. Electron and holes in intrinsic are created in pairs always. So if a particular electron is created, its equivalent hole is also created. So this situation, since now we have the availability of electron, so at temperature greater than 0 degree Kelvin, it will start to show. it will start to show properties of conductor. Since electron is available in conduction band, in conduction band. Now, if we keep on increasing temperature, more and more bonds will break and simultaneously new electrons will be created. But this mode of conduction is not required, because if we keep on increasing temperature, it will eventually damage the device. So this mode of conduction is not useful mode of conduction. Conduction is achieved by the breaking of bonds and electrons is freely available, but this is not desired way, because ultimately for increasing the electrons, we have to increase its temperature, and that will ultimately damage the device, or if some heat protection is given, then it will certainly reduce the lifetime of the device. So since we are talking about the lattice here, I want to discuss this on the basis of energy and lattice diagram also. So if we plot, some very useful phenomena is about to be seen. If we plot energy and lattice graph for this similar arrangement, which we are discussing for some time now, this portion is valence band and this portion is conduction band. Okay. Now, as we have seen in the energy and lattice diagram, uh, this is the shape of conduction band, and simultaneously this is the shape of valence band. Now, if we take the case of temperature at greater than 0 degree Kelvin, this is the valence band. It's from here that electrons actually jumped and went to conduction band. Now we have seen that bonds break and create electron and holes in pairs. So if three bonds get broken, then three pairs get created. Five bond broken, five pairs gets created. So if we draw example 6 pairs, so since these pairs are created, these will be distributed symmetrically along this energy axis. I am showing here. For example, 6 bonds get broken or 5 bonds get broken. This is the arrangement of electrons in conduction band, and this is the arrangement of holes in valence band. I am marking that charges also. So if we see along the energy axis, there is a symmetry. If we see along the energy axis, there is actually symmetry. Symmetry means 2 electrons here and 2 electrons here, 2 holes here and 2 holes here. If there is a even or symmetrical distribution of electrons in conduction band as far as energy and lattice is concerned, then never ever useful conduction could be achieved or unidirectional conduction could be achieved. If we have to achieve conduction in a particular direction, then we will again draw how this diagram should look like, how this diagram should look like. Uh, if we use a different color pencil here for the unsymmetrical distribution, okay. I'm trying to draw a unsymmetrical distribution here. For example, these total 5 electrons are here. If we want to draw unsymmetrical, so I'm going to rub this. Okay, so now 3 electrons get moved here, and if we erase a hole also, I'm just want to show how uneven distribution looks like. Now, here there are 3 electrons, and here there are 2 electrons, which means the portion in which electrons are in majority, conduction will tend to move in that direction. So if arrangement is like this is for a particular single atom. This is for a particular single atom at a particular instant. For this, like this, these are infinite arrangements in millions and millions of atoms inside a cubic lattice structure. So wherever direction is there, the electrons will tend to flow under the influence of electrical field. This is actually what we termed as drift current. This is actually what we termed as drift current. Its speed is limited to about approximately 10 to power 4 centimeter per seconds. Not like this. Actually, it is much less than this. Okay. So this is all about energy and distribution. Now, the second topic which I earlier mentioned was effective mass, which I wanted to discuss was of effective mass. This is a very, very interesting concept, effective mass. Now, for this far discussion, we know that the person responsible for conduction is what? Electron. Responsible for conduction. For conduction. Whether it is intrinsic or extrinsic. In an extrinsic, there are holes also, but the main culprit or interesting character responsible for conduction is actually directly or indirectly, it's our electron. So far, we have studied that mass cannot change macroscopically. Weight could change. For example, if a gravity varies, then mass is, for example, if mass of body is 5 kg, okay, and on earth gravity is 9.8, then weight of that person becomes 49 kg. If gravity becomes less, gravity becomes 1, then weight of person becomes 5 kg meter per second. Okay. So as far as we know now, weight gets changed, never mass. Mass never gets changed. But through the help of quantum mechanics, we were able to find that mass also changes according to electrons in its conduction band or it is in valence band. How that happens could be very interestingly seen from Cronin-Penny model and de Broglie wavelength experiments. Energy, momentum, and mass were found to be related like this. If P is denoted as momentum and M is mass, then energy, momentum, and mass is related as this. And now modified Planck's constant, we get value like this. So energy and lattice constant are actually related through this expression, are actually related to this expression. So if we compare this and this, then momentum comes out to be modified Planck's constant into k. momentum comes out to be modified Planck's constant, which is shown by h bar into k. Now, energy and k structure, energy and k. Simplest diagram we can draw, it's actually a parabolic graph. If we want to draw a graph between energy and k. So if this is a curvy graph, then surely if it is not very sharp graph, this is a smooth graph, slope can be found and its slope can be unique. If its has been like this, if its had been like this, means very sharp, then its unique slope cannot be identified. So if we differentiate energy with terms to lattice using this and this, we can write del E by del K comes out to be h bar square into K by M, which can be equivalently written as hp by M. Differentiating further with respect to K only, we get h square by M. Now, this is a very interesting relation. What we actually get from this? The interesting point is what we actually get from this. So, if we try to rearrange it, so it can be written as 1 by h bar square into del square E by del K square equals to 1 by M. Now see, the second derivative results in mass, and that to what? Positive mass. Means, what do you mean by positive mass? Mass is a real physical thing. So if we talk in terms of positive and negative, it doesn't mean that its magnitude gets positive or negative. Magnitude is always real and is always positive. So if we are mentioning positive mass, second differential is a positive value. So what is actually meant is, what is the normal behavior of mass? It doesn't divert from that. For example, if we argue what is the normal behavior of mass, it means if a body is freely falling. For example, if a body is free falling, a body is free falling towards earth, its normal behavior of mass. So mass is behaving positively here. That is what mass actually do. When we leave it, it falls towards gravity. And if we terms relate force, mass, and acceleration, we actually get this formula. If we relate in terms of energy and electron value, energy and electron value, we know that electron moves always in the opposite direction of electric field. Electron moves always in the opposite direction of electric field. That's why in electric field, force value in terms of electronic charge is given into electronic charge into electric field with a minus sign. This minus sign shows that electronic moves always in the opposite direction of electric field. If we compare these both equations, we will get mass into acceleration equals to minus E into E, which gives us acceleration equals to QE by M. Okay. So if we compare energy diagram here, what we actually draw, we actually have drawn earlier like this. Okay. So energy is increasing in this direction, and in conduction band, electron is always found at the bottom of conduction band. Electric field is increasing in upward direction, and electron is always found in the bottom of conduction band, which means If electron is freely available here, it will always move to lowest most point in the conduction band, just like this. So the behavior of electron in conduction band is termed as positive behavior, which means if a freely electron is available, it will ultimately move towards the bottom of conduction band, just like a free body moves towards earth. Okay, so much for this lecture. In the next lecture, we will talk about the behavior of electron in the valence band, and we will discuss further both comparing this. Okay, thank you class. Thank you.